Welcome to Biology My Passion. I am Soumya Harikrishna. We are going to start the new chapter, Human Eye and Colourful World. About light, we learned in the previous chapter two properties of light, reflection and refraction. In this chapter, we will learn about an amazing organ in our body, eye, which is enabling us to see with the help of light, and the functioning of the eye, the defects that are related to eye, and certain phenomena associated with light. So let's start with the structure of our human eye. So first we know that eyes are located in sockets in our facial bone, that's a part of our skull, and here we have two eye sockets. In that, eyeballs are there. Okay, so it's a complete spherical structure. It is almost 2.3 centimeter in diameter, but this eyeball, only the front part we see. Rest of the parts are inside, okay, inside the socket. Only the front bulged part of the eye we see, that is called the cornea. Okay, so the outer covering of, since I told it is a spherical structure, I am drawing a spherical structure first. Okay, this is the outer layer which is called a sclera. Don't worry about these terms, you don't have to study. Okay, so but the sclera in front is bulging out. This is the part we are seeing. Okay, so this bulged outer part is called the cornea. Okay, so the white color that we are seeing is the cornea, and this cornea is bulged out, and it is a transparent layer at the outermost, as the outermost covering. It also protects the eye from the dust and the germs, etc. But the main function is to refract light. So we know refraction means what? When light enters from one medium to the other, it's a velocity and direction changes in the next medium. Okay, so here also we know when the light is entering the eye, it is from a lighter medium, optically rarer medium from air to the cornea. Okay, so of course at this surface the refraction will happen. So the main refraction or the first refraction of the light entering the eye happens in the cornea. So cornea is the outermost bulged portion of the eye. Now behind it is going as an optic nerve. Okay, it is connected to the optic nerve, which is connected to this part of the brain where the vision will be perceived. Now we have the second layer. The second layer is called a choroid. That also will join with the optic nerve. It has all the nerves and blood vessels in it. This is choroid. Choroid is extending in front into a circular portion. It is circular, but why I am drawing like this? Because I am taking the cut portion. I am taking the eye and cutting it into half, and from one side we are seeing. That's why it is bulged outer part. Then inner it is like this, but it's a circle that you can see here. That brown color round structure we are seeing, that is the structure that is called the iris. It is a dark colored structure or it is a kind of the circular diaphragm in the eye. Okay, so for us Indians it is mainly brownish in color, dark brown or light brown, but for some people it can be lighter color or different colors also. Okay, so that is iris. Now what is the function of the iris? So when it is a circular structure, in the center there is a hole. That hole is called a pupil. Okay, so through the hole the light enters the eye, because there should be an entrance for the eye, right? So through that hole or the pupil, the light is entering the eye. So the regulating the size of the pupil is the function of the iris. So you must have seen some, imagine a circular shutter is there. It's opening and closing. So when the iris is relaxing, okay, the pupil dilates and more light enters the eye. When the iris is contracting, less light enters the eye. Why? Because pupil is contracting or pupil becomes small. This happens when we are looking at bright light or dark light. We all must have experienced when we go, especially daytime, to the movie theater. Once we enter the hall, it is pitch dark inside, especially once you go little later, means after the movie began. Okay. Then once you enter, you won't be able to see anything because you came from a bright light outside and you are entering into a dark room. You will not be able to see anything. So what you should do, you have to stand there for some time. Within 1 or 2 minutes, slowly things will start visible to you in dim light. Why? Because since the light is very less, our iris will dilate. When the iris dilates, the pupil will enlarge. When the pupil enlarges, more light can enter so that we can see something clearly. Okay, the same way, when you come out of the hall, from the dark, you are coming out to the bright light, all of a sudden you will be feeling very disturbed. But what happens within no time, the iris contracts so that pupil is reduced, so less amount of light is entering the eye. So iris is controlling the amount or size of the pupil. Pupil regulates the amount of light entering the eye. So this you can very well see. Suppose you look at the mirror. And looking at the mirror, keep your eyes open and show a light to your eye. This I have done. My teacher told when I was in 7th standard, I remember, she told to go home and check with a torch. So I took a pen torch. Now you can use your mobile flashlight also. Pen torch, and keeping my eye open, I lighted the torch. I could see my iris dilating and pupil enlarging. Then after, when I switched it off, it was coming down, so that you can see the muscle movement. Okay, so that is the pupil. So pupil is the structure that regulates the amount of light entering the eye. Now the same has got some ciliary muscles here. From that, some suspensory ligaments are there. So the ciliary muscles or suspensory ligaments are holding the lens in position. So we should have a lens in our eye, because without lens we cannot form the image. Okay. So what kind of lens do we need? We need a convex lens. Biconvex lens is there in our eye. So we can say that our eye is like a camera. Functions are the same. Camera also captures image of the objects. We also capture image of the objects. But difference is, in camera what is happening? It is capturing it on a film, that is the screen. But for us, the screen is our eye. This part itself, we will come to that. But before that, for capturing the image, we need a lens. So in our eye also, if there is a biconvex lens, camera also uses biconvex lens, but ours is not a glass lens, but ours is a biological crystalline lens. Okay, biological lens which is crystalline in nature, biconvex lens. Now, holding position, the muscles are called as ciliary muscles, and there are small ligaments connecting to that called as suspensory ligaments. So this here we can write the ciliary muscles. Okay. Now there is an inner layer which is reaching here only. It won't come to the front. This layer is the main layer called the retina. So this is the retina, and retina is the part which is acting as the screen. Okay. So light coming from here will be making an image on the retina. So exactly opposite to this, there is a region called the yellow spot. So if the light falls on this yellow spot, we get maximum vision of that. But if there is a spot here called a blind spot, if the light image falls on this blind spot, we won't be able to see anything. What makes the difference in the yellow spot or blind spot? One place we can see clearly, other place we cannot. That is because of certain photosensitive cells. Photo means what? Light. The cells which are sensitive to light. Actually, we have two types of cells, photosensitive cells in our eyes, rods and cones. So rods are helping us to see in the dim light, whereas cones will help us to see in the bright light. In the dim light, can you see the colors? No, everything will be a grayish appearance. But in bright light, we can see the colors. So their colored vision is also possible with the help of cones. So you can remember C for color. Color is seen in the bright light only. So cones help us to see the things in the bright light or the daylight with the colors. Whereas rods help in the night vision, or some animals like owls, they have more rods which will enable them to see at night. So these rods and cones are well present here. That's why in the yellow spot we have maximum vision, but in blind spot they are absent, so we will not be able to see. So actually now before this lens, this part is called the aqueous chamber. Aqueous chamber, which consists of a fluid called aqueous humor. This chamber is called a vitreous chamber, which is filled with a fluid called a vitreous humor. Okay, so these are the, and this is the optical nerve taking the information of the image to the brain, because when the image is forming on the retina, it is falling as an inverted image, real and inverted image. So it will be taken to the brain, and brain will perceive it as the correct image, erect image. Okay, so the first outermost part of the eye is called the cornea. Cornea is the place where the first refraction takes place, remember that. Then inner to that there comes a round structure that is called the iris. Iris is controlling the size of the pupil. Third part is the pupil, that is a hole in the middle of the iris. Pupil regulates the amount of light entering our eye. Then behind the pupil there is our lens. This lens is a biconvex lens. It is a crystalline lens and it is held in position using ciliary muscles. And there is the retina at the back of the eyeball. This retina has got rods and cones which are photosensitive cells which enable us to see in the dark and also to see the bright light and colored vision. And finally, optic nerve will be taking the image impression to the or the signals to the brain for perceiving it. And in front of the eye lens we have a chamber called the aqueous chamber filled with the aqueous humor, and behind the lens we have vitreous chamber filled with the vitreous humor. And outside this we have the eyelid for closing and opening is possible, that is for protecting our eye. Hope you understood all the concepts we learned today. If so, please like, share with all your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to me yet, please do so. Thank you for watching Biology My Passion.